Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, good people. It's your Alabama church girl here. First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. To all the leaders, saints, and friends, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, and get on in here. We are going to have a wonderful conversation this evening about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 10, New Kids on the Cell Block. All right, so go ahead and tap your family, tap your friends, tell them, hey, we're about to have this culture conversation, and I need you to get over here in this conversation. I need your opinion. There's things about family that we're going to talk about, and I need your perspective and your opinion on these topics of family. All right, now let's get started right here. Hi. Excuse me, already. I am the Alabama church girl. I fearlessly dive into the taboo topics of the Black church and the Black community. And the first question that I want to know on this evening is, who told y'all that this was supposed to be a housewife show? It's not rhetorical. Please drop down in the comments and please let me know. Because I know that my good friend Carlos did not tell me that. I understand that, yes, Carlos' claim to fame was his tenure over at the Real Housewives of Atlanta. He made that show very popular. He left there, did start doing his own thing, Kingdom Reign Entertainment. Went over and struck a deal with Oprah and OWN TV network. And here he has his number one show on the OWN network, Love and Marriage Huntsville. It happens to be a show from Alabama. You know, us Alabama people, we love that for him and for us. But not one time did he ever tell me, and you know that's my good friend in my head. Not one time did he ever tell us that this was supposed to be a housewife show. Well, what's the difference? Why are you asking this question, Alabama church girl? Because I am noticing that the appetite of the audience is for housewives, and this is not that. This is not that. The title up in this top corner says Love and Marriage Huntsville. Love and Marriage, which means that this show, it denotes to me that this show is a show talking about love and relationships of love, relationships with your partner. Some may be espoused, some may not. Some may be single, some may be married. Hence, love and marriage. Some may be familial, some may be friendships, but love and marriage, Huntsville. A love and marriage show, a show about love and marriage that is centered in the state of Alabama, Huntsville, to be particular. Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, Poppy. I don't get housewives from this title. And even when he told us how this show came to be about with the Holtz at the time, they were married, Martel and Melody, coming to him, primarily Melody, coming to him with a show idea to showcase this couple that was rising in their influence and their economics in the city of Huntsville, which is also a rising city in the state of Alabama. That show was supposed to be about their real estate building and all of that in the city of Huntsville. That does not say to me housewives. Bravo TV network has made it very clear that the housewives is supposed to be themed after what's the show? Shoot, just lost my words. But Housewives is supposed to be a show about these married women behind the gates. A lot of times married to affluent men, sometimes even being affluent themselves, that live behind the gates, and them showing us their affluent life, their life of leisure, the soft life. That's what Housewives is supposed to be about. But knowing that the premise of this show was supposed to be about a couple that is showcasing their business of building properties in the city of Huntsville, says that these are working class people. These are middle class people who have great aspirations. they have great motivation, and they are being an inspiration to others around them. It doesn't say affluent to me. So I don't know why we're always talking about money and what people do and don't have on the show. These are middle class people in the state of Alabama. What is our expectation for real? All right, so I'm going to get off my rant. But please, let's consider that this is their reality, and let's take it at face value, because there's a lot that they're giving us in their reality that we can glean from, have a whole conversation about, and actually relate to our own lives. And they're inspiring as well, because the show itself has presented more opportunity to them than what they already were building on from the beginning. Anywho, just wanted to share that a little bit. Let's clear the air. Did y'all get your friends over in here? Did you get your family over in here? All right, let's move forward. Season 8, episode 10. New kids on the cell block. Oh, baby, let me tell you about this reality of Love and Marriage Huntsville. They talk about love relationships. We get the family, we get the friends, we get the spouses, but we also get to know about their shortcomings too. And baby, it's a lot of these cast members and castmates on this show that have been behind some jail cells, have been behind the bars, have their mugshot plastered all over the internet. But we're not judging. Just a little bit, just a tad bit. But we have, either we've been through it ourselves or we have family members that have been through it, and it leads to a deep conversation. All right, so this episode starts out with Nell, who is our resident mother of the crew, of the cast, going to visit her husband, Fletcher, Chris Fletcher, at his office. He's a real estate broker. I believe at the time, Mel and Martel were real estate developers. And I think Marceau might be a developer or a project manager. I'm not sure. Anywho, so Nell is going to meet her husband, Fletcher, who is a real estate broker. And he has been asked by the infamous couple, Sunny and Moses, to find a house for them. They want to move from Missouri to Alabama, allegedly because they want to raise kids in Alabama versus raising them in St. Louis, Missouri. Really? Sounds like a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with BS. But, I'm trying to reserve judgment. All right, so I have a question. As Nell sits down, she didn't come to him, to his office, to actually discuss this interaction between her husband and Sunny and Moses. She actually came to discuss something much deeper, but he revealed to her that that's what he was working on at the time. I just have to say that the two of them together are a very cute couple. They are lovely. When she walks in, what you have to, Fletcher? And he's like, hey, you looking real good. You look scrumptious. And he gives her that kiss like he wanted to eat her. I was like, okay, they are really cute for them to be an older couple and to have been together for, what, they say 30 years now. And they're still loving on each other and they're showing affection like that. All right. We get it. We see it. We are diminishing all those talks about a side piece over here. But anywho, so he reveals to her that he's working on finding a house for Moses and Sunny. She's like, I don't know about that. Did you talk to Destiny? This is Destiny here in the middle. Did you talk to Destiny about that? And Fletcher's like, I don't have to talk to Destiny. And then he tells us in the confessional, yeah, she's like a little sister to me, but this is my business. And I don't have to ask anybody to do my business because this is how I make money for my family. Well, in this conversation, we find out that he needs to make money for the family because his wife is stressed out because their adult kids, keep asking them for money. All right, so we're going to jump over to the end of the episode, closer to the end of the episode, because we see Sunny and Moses going to have dinner with Tisha and Maurice. Not Tisha, excuse me, Kimmy and Maurice. And this couple, they're coming to this couple to ask, basically, almost like, would you accept us in? We want to in. We need somebody to align ourselves with in this cast. That's what it felt like to me. Now, the whole episode, I my intuition was telling me that Moses and Sunny probably had a producer to have a talking to, as Giselle would say. And they're trying to humble themselves and make relationships. They're cultivating community in this episode. So they're going to Kimmy and Maurice, basically trying to develop a relationship with them. And Kimmy has her reservations. She's like, listen, I'm good friends with Destiny. And I don't you feel like it's throwing salt in their wounds, in the wound of that relationship that you just destroyed, for you to try to move into her backyard. And Sunny is like, I don't owe her anything, and she's telling her tale. We'll get to that. But I have a question. When it comes to your friendships and your relationships and to doing business and making other friends, what denotes a conflict of interest? Because for Nell, listen, you need to talk to Destiny, but I would not. Nell was reserved, like, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna do any type of business with them. And Maurice and Kimmy both looked like they had their reservations about them. Like they were looking at them like they were the blue bunny plague. Okay, can I talk? So yeah, they were looking like, what you got to say, huh? I ain't quite convinced. Maurice started asking, especially when Moses started sharing that he had been to prison. Maurice's ears perked up like, huh, what? Who is this? Remember, even though Maurice has his own legal woes, he is a whole lawyer. So he's looking like, I don't know about this. So as a community, what do we say denotes a conflict of interest when it comes to relationships? Oh, I'm sorry, I got bit by a mosquito or something. But what is a conflict of interest when it comes to relationships and friendships and making new friends? I've never been the type of person to require loyalty from my friends, that, hey, if I don't like a particular person for a reason, honestly, a lot of times I don't even share it. I never have done that, but I'm just one person. What do we say as a community? I would say, at least, if nothing else, both of these situations with Nell and Fletcher and with Maurice and Kimmy, I felt like both of them should have at least called Destiny to give her a heads up. I don't owe you the Passover of this possible commission. I don't owe you that type of loyalty that, hey, I will pass over this possible friendship with a girlfriend, but I'm going to give you the courtesy of letting you know that, hey, I might get entangled with this person that has hurt you. What do y'all think? Questions, drop it down in the comments, please. Let me know what you think. What would you do in this situation? Would you just say, nah, I'm loyal to the day I die, I'm not doing my friend like that? Or would you give them a heads up? Because we saw in previous episodes, Stormy was kind enough to give Mel a heads up. She knew that there was some issues between her and Martel that were going a little further than what she's known before. So she had to sit down with her. Even though Stormy already had her reservations about Mel, she still felt like, hey, I'm close enough to you still to give you a courtesy. Give you a courtesy call. Hey, this is about to happen. I've invited Mark, your ex-husband, who you just had put in jail. I've already invited him to participate in my gala. So, and even though I'm extending the invitation to you as well, I'm giving you a heads up to let you know, hey, he's gonna be there. Can Kimmy and Maurice do the same thing? Hey, girlfriend, I'm gonna give you a heads up that basically Sunny and Moses they're looking for some friends out here, and I'm considering being a possible associate, possible friend to her, so she can get on this cast. Because basically that's what they were saying. That's what the undertones were given. And that's another reason why I like reality TV. When you're reading books, which we talked about that, I love to read books. When you're reading books, you do if a good author will explain the backstory, and they will explain the perspective of each character, but you don't get to hear their tone. Their tone tells a different tale, even though the words that have been put in parentheses might say one thing, their tone might say something different. You don't get to read their body language, because body language says something different. This is why we like these reality TV shows. And my pitch is, I want to keep them. I want to see them stay and remain on these networks. So we have to support them and stop tearing them down. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but I'm on it a little bit still. Okay, so anywho, what denotes a conflict of interest? Y'all let me know. Drop that in the comments. All right, so we move forward. Did I tell everything? Yeah, Stormy gave Destiny a heads up too, because Stormy invited everybody to her Lovers and Friends gala, which included Moses and Sunny. So she had to sit down with Destiny, because she said Destiny is her girlfriend. They're girls now. So let me give my girlfriend a heads up. Hey, I invited your ops to use somebody else's word. I invited them people that just betrayed you. I did invite them to the gala. So just so you know. And Destiny took it on the chin. She showed up and she showed out last episode. All right, so another thing that I gathered from this scene with Fletcher and Nell, like I said, Nell came with a specific agenda. She needed to have a conversation with her husband one-on-one to let him know that, hey, I'm really getting stressed out to the point where this stress is affecting my mental health with our adult children, always asking for money, and we're always having to pay rent for them, always having to pay utility bills for them, which is understandable. I understand both sides of spoiling your child and trying to wean your child off your pocketbook. I understand that, Neil. I totally understand that. It's some of us know it a little more than others, but yeah, we understand that. So it's stressing her out because, at the end of the day, you love your children. And if you can provide more for them than, possibly what you grew up with, then you want to. And then when you have the resources to do it, it pours out of the heart. What comes from the heart reaches the heart, and it pours out of you. So it's hard. It is a challenge. It is difficult not to spoil them. So she's telling her husband, hey, have you even noticed that there's a difference in me? And her husband, Fletcher, is like, I need to do whatever it takes to make my wife happy. I don't know if this came by hook or crook. I don't know if it came by some good counseling. I don't know if it came by some good love making, but I love to see it. That he's like, okay, whatever we need to do to get you in a better place, that's what we're going to do. I do feel like Fletcher still got some tricks up his sleeve, but clearly he's real good at hiding it. Or maybe, that man is still down in there. He's trying to suppress it, but it's in there. Trust me, when he gets to talking with Martel, we see, oh yeah, Fletcher, you out there. Anywho, so we see in this scene that he really wants to do whatever it takes. So he suggests that they have a family meeting. Did y'all ever have family meetings with you or your family? I recall having some. And it was only 4 of us in the house at the time. Me, my older sister, my mom, my dad. And typically the family meeting was called by the dad. And it was typically about something that he had an issue with. Um, did y'all ever have family meetings? Or do y'all still have family meetings? Are we doing that in the Black community? I mean, I am the Alabama church girl. I do talk the taboo topics of like church and the Black community. So of course, I'm gonna want to know what's going on with our Black community. Are we still having family meetings? So he says, let's call a family meeting, and it will be great if you can cook. This was the first time in what the Fletchers have been a part of the show for a while, but we started seeing them more the past 2 seasons. This is the first time in those seasons that I've ever heard Fletcher raise his tone more than a little bit with his wife. Cause Nell says, I ain't doing no cooking. And he says, oh, come on now, Nell. He got angry about that cooking. I said, oh yeah. Cause his first daughter by a previous marriage had already let us know in her interview with Giving You the Real Tea that even though she has her issues with Nell and her dad and the family, she has to admit Nell can really cook. That, anytime Nell cooks, she wants to eat because Nell can really cook. So clearly, Fletcher is one of them husbands like, yeah, my wife can cook. She can throw down. So he was like, you got to cook for us now. Please, come on now, woman. So anywho, she gives in, and you could tell it made her blush when he got a little upset that she first turned him down. So anywho, they move into the scene. The next scene that we see is the scene with him, her, and their kids. Neil is actually in the kitchen cooking lasagna. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, y'all. But Neil is actually in the kitchen cooking. She's making some lasagna. He'd prefer a little more meat in the lasagna, and she's like, "Nah, I like it like this. It's the cheese that is the star of this recipe." But anywho, the kids are coming in, and it was lovely to see all of her adult kids come in, giving their parents some love and giving each other some love. Very, very nice to see that. I have always enjoyed when my family gets together. My nuclear family has always been small. But when the family at large gets together and have big family dinners, it's a wonderful thing. That to me is self-care. That to me is a mental health moment. Being around the family and getting your grounding. But anywho, the family comes in, and something that I noticed that, let me ask, last week we asked the question, do Southern mothers, particularly Southern Black mothers, do they love their daughters? But I'm gonna ask another question about Southern mothers, because Nell displayed some behaviors that made me just turn my head, squint my eyes a little bit, look a little deeper. Instead of allowing the lovely moment of their entry to just, savor that moment for a minute, Nell went straight into why she called them there, and she went from 0 to 100 really quickly. Do Southern mothers know how to be compassionate when sharing their emotions? Just a question. Drop that in the comments. You're welcome to drop down in the comments. Let me know how you feel. How do you see it? I know that as a Southern mother myself, a lot of times we are really the household manager, which adds layers of stress that the rest of the family doesn't feel. So that could be a contributing factor to going from 0 to 100 extremely quickly. because our gears are always turning. We're always grinding. But in this instance, it appeared to me that Nell's family and her husband were very open. They were ready for a vulnerable moment. And instead of her coming in nice and delicately with that vulnerable moment, she came in punching. And I was like, girl, what happened? Or was it the editing? I don't know. But it was like she went from first of all, the young son, when he came in, first thing he said was, I got a job. And she was like, okay, yeah, you need to do that because this is why I called you. I called you over here to tell y'all need to stop asking me for my money because I need to take care of me. I was like, oh, mother. What? You okay? Are you okay? Do you need a glass of wine? Do you need to sit down? Do you need some time? What can we do for you? Mother, let us grab that pan, please. I'll get the lasagna out the oven for you because you're already hot. You're already heated. And I was like, Nell, oh, your timing was kind of off. And the kids seemed like they were very familiar with this Nell. And her husband, he seemed like he was familiar with having to clean up behind the mess of this type of Nell. Because he comes behind her and he's like, okay, so what we're telling you is it's time for you guys to step up and to be more mature about your finances. We need to be able to save for things that we need to do and want to do. And you guys need to handle it on your own. I'm paraphrasing y'all. But he also goes on to bring up my friend. Y'all know I've been vying for and I've been rooting for Dr. Francis to come back, possibly since episode number 2. And finally, he brings up Dr. Francis. He said, listen, with all that is being said and all the emotions that are in the room, do you think that it'll be a good idea for us to go have some family counseling with Dr. Francis? I was pleasantly surprised and happy to know that all of the children agreed. And even a couple of the children, the adult children, said, hey, I think I probably need some one-on-one counseling with Dr. Francis, which is wonderful. That says a lot, about family. I'm going to tell you something. We as Black people, we have had a stigma, or we've allowed there to be a stigma regarding counseling and mental health within our community. And to go even further, here in the South, it's almost like, because we are the Bible Belt, that's the one thing that I haven't seen represented in these reality shows. And this is a type of reality show that really is showing real middle class people and who are thriving, surviving, and really trying to maneuver through the different dynamics of their life. And I'm enjoying it, but we get to see, the complexities in their love and marriage relationships, their friendships, their family. We get to see the different dynamics. They bring up some things that are a bit political. We'll get to that. But I have not seen them bring up the religious aspect of their reality. And that's something I'm interested in, because I told y'all I have gone back to school now to study sociology and religion. And so I would love to see how those dynamics play on this particular cast. We're in the Bible Belt. It has an impact. It does. It just does. Whether you go to church every Sunday or not, it does have an impact. So with that being said, back to the mental health situation, and thank you for liking the video. If you are coming in, please make sure you're liking and sharing the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I would love for you to join the membership and get some behind the scenes tea with the Alabama Church Girl. But back to the mental health piece, that religious influence, the influence of religion on culture. Mental health in Southern religion has been extremely taboo. I know I'm not the only one. Hey, beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, Monique. Thank you for sharing. But I know that I'm not the only one that has experienced some religious folk and family and amongst friends who felt like if you needed to go see a counselor, then you probably had a demon. Beep, beep, toot, toot. Good to see you. Please share with some friends. Yeah, that it's been preached across the pulpit. It's been stated within the pews. The church mothers want to pray over you with that anointed oil and basically do an exorcism on you if you ever mentioned that you needed to go see a counselor or you needed some type of therapy. So to see these young adults saying, yes, let's do it, that was wonderful to see evolution. But then we get Nell, who is the matriarch of the family. She is in agreement to go with the group. But one of her sons suggested you probably need to have some one-on-one counseling as well. Now, he's already volunteered himself for some one-on-one counseling. But then when he volunteered her, she very vehemently stated, I ain't doing it. I think she even may have said a little curse word. But she's like, no, I ain't doing that. Which that was a little bit disappointing because I want to know, well, what is it? What's the resistance? If you'll do it as a group, why don't you do it one-on-one? What is holding you back? Because something in your mind said it's okay. Dr. Francis is not going to hurt me. He's not going to harm me. But what is telling you that I can't go one-on-one? So I would love to see, is it, what are the stereotypes that you play in your mind that hold you back from that? So anywho, they agreed to go to counseling with Dr. Francis. And I'm so excited about seeing Dr. Francis come back to the show. Because he does keep it real. And let me tell you something, it's very challenging to find Black counselors. Yeah. It's also a challenge to find Black female counselors in this area. So, yeah. For them to have Dr. Francis and for him to be really, really good, the way that he gives them homework and he challenges their perspectives. Oh, yeah. He's top tier. Chef's kiss. All right, so we're going to move forward. We move forward to now Fletcher has already told his wife, hey, I'm finna go get this money. So Fletcher says, all right, they want a house in Huntsville, Alabama. I know somebody that's selling a house. Who do you think? What house do you think he's going to go sell? Because all of his friends are in real estate and some factor or facet or another. So Fletcher says, all right, I got a house for you. You're the match made in hell, and Martel has a house for you. So he goes over to his friend Martel. Now, y'all, first thing I got to talk about. What in the whole world? See, God don't like ugly. He don't like me talking about this lady clothes, but I got to talk about it. He gonna let my scarf come on. What in the whole world is going on with Sunny and her fashions? What was this? Sunny, I told you 2 episodes ago, go get you. I'm sorry, y'all. Go get you a stylist because this ain't it, boo-boo. This ain't it. And I know I'm sitting here talking to you while I'm wearing a t-shirt and a scarf on my head. Listen, yeah, we went to the vineyards for the holidays. But yes, Sunny, I'm not on TV. And I know you are being your natural, real self. And I appreciate you for that. And even if you can't afford to have a stylist for every episode, Sunny, I see you had you a nice name brand. I don't know what type of bag this is because I ain't even care to look that far into it. But Sunny, we don't want to see you. We're not looking. I am not looking for you to be label. You know who? We're not looking for that. We'll go over there to RHOA. And they got that covered over there. But I at least need to see you have some type of personal style that is suitable for you and your body type. And I don't think you figured it out, Sunny. So even if you can't afford to have a stylist for every single episode, Marlo has a whole shop where you can get a second hand if you want to. Or you can go and do a consultation and let them pull together a personal style for you. Because I'm sure you have something. But this ain't it. This ain't it, girl. What is this? I know we're in Alabama and the weather is crazy. And yes, people do. For everybody who is clowning, because y'all see I put Martel and Sunny real close together in this image. You know why? Because their fashions closely match each other. Too tight, obscure. The top don't match the bottom. The color scheme is a tad bit skewed. Yeah. Alabama weather is crazy. Yes, we will go through 3-4 different seasons in one day. But this sweatshirt with them shorts, Sunny, no. Especially denim shorts, Sunny, no. A couple of episodes ago. Now, mind you, they filmed this at the top of the year. I know the Reality with the Kings was at the end of January. So this might be around February, March, going into March sometime by the time they film this. It's rainy, it's cold, it'll get warmer and a couple of hours of the day, then get back cold in the evening. Yeah, I get it. I get it that you don't know, but that's why we layer. And Sunny, I would prefer if you just came on here with a standard uniform. I'm always going to have on slacks, a blouse, and some heels. Simple. You got hips, so a skirt would benefit you better. Tailored dress would benefit you better. And it don't have to have no labels on it. Not for me. Because I ain't looking for at this show for labels. We got Marlo over there for labels. But I am looking at middle-class professionals that are inspiring. And this ain't inspiring, Sunny. Them pink boots. I'm sorry, y'all. I gave it to her nicely and lightly. And I'm still being nice. Because, I've heard my good friend over there giving you the real tea. He went in. I love him, though. I love him. Terrence T. Yeah, I love him. But he went in on you, Sunny. Because you look a mess. You look like you are the 40-year-old at the concert singing my booty hole brown, my pee is pink and my booty hole brown. That's what you look like. You look like that odd 40-year-old who would do something like that. Let me get up off Oh Lord. But yeah, so I'm sorry. So Sunny and Moses are going over to Martel's new house that he just built. It is up for sale. I think he said it's in the 300,000 range, which is average for a nice middle class home in this area in Alabama. And they're showing the house. They don't appear to be very interested in the house. Not for real. It seemed to me like this was a staged scene. Sunny probably produced this her own self. Let's go ask. No, she told Moses to ask Chris Fletcher when they were at the gala. She was like, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna have a scene with Destiny. So I want you to go over there and have a scene with Chris Fletcher and ask him to show us a house so that we can make another scene. So this was the scene. So Chris is showing this house. They don't seem interested, and he's not even selling it as if it's a real thing. This is a real deal. We find out when they sit down with the Scotts that they didn't even sign a contract. So this was just making TV. This was just producing TV. Because as soon as they get back outside, they're not talking and focused on the home. What do they jump into? Martel starts producing, baby. He was standing between these two, and he starts bringing up Destiny. What does she have to do with the sale of this home? But they're making TV. Martel and Destiny are very good friends. Very good friends. I think they know all of each other's secrets. So he knows that Sunny and Moses have really hurt his friend. But he's like, look, I already talked to my friend about what y'all did to her, but I'm going to sell this home anyway. So he says, I'm going to be neutral. Well, Chris Fletcher said, oh, neutral, do you say? This is when we know. Chris Fletcher and Martel are good friends. These are homeboys. They talk like homeboys. They talk like homeboys that, if they weren't cool and had more, if they didn't have as much in common, that they probably would be enemies. Because they always got a jab back and forth. But they homeboys because they got a lot in common. So I might as well, you can't beat them, join them. So anywho, Chris Fletcher said, oh, you neutral now, huh? Because clearly they had an argument before. Martel thinking that the rest of the cast, his friends, can't be neutral between the situation with him and Melody. Well, Martel jumps back through the loop. Yeah, because that's my girl. But when it comes to this, hey, y'all found love. Okay, then Sunny jumps in trying to tell us her sob story again. Let me tell y'all something. Love and Marriage Huntsville producers, whoever y'all are behind the scene, excuse me, that tall, cute little bright skinned one, do not have them go sit in front of Dr. Francis. No. We do not want them to taint Dr. Francis with all their negative essence. No. Don't do it. I know y'all trying to make scenes for Sunny and Moses, but that's not the one that we want to see. You know who we want to see them with? Since it's on the OWN network, and the resident the resident life coach for OWN network is Iyanla. Get Iyanla over here to fix their life. Specifically to fix Sunny life. I think Moses might be a lost cause. Y'all, I know I'm rambling and the thoughts are coming, but how is it that Moses have decent relationships and make decent decisions when he's been incarcerated 15 years of his life? The majority of your adulthood has been behind bars. How in the world will you ever be able to? It's going to take you it's probably going to take you another 15 to really figure out how to maneuver as an adult in this life. I'm just saying, maybe that's why he needs Sunny to hold his hand. Maybe that's why he like, my wife's the best thing that happened to me, because she's willing to be your mother. She's willing to be your adult supervisor. Oh, okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, see, that's when you let the thoughts flow freely. Yeah, you come to a discovery point. But yeah, so Sunny jumps in trying to tell us her story again about how she found love. And when she first laid eyes on this man, I knew that could be my husband. And he thought the same thing. Girl, did he? Cause he looking like space is just going between his eyes and his ears. He looking like he wasn't thinking nothing. He just was looking. He just had eyes, and they just happened to land. That's what he looking like to me. I'm just saying. I saw all y'all sitting in the confessional. I saw that there was no chemistry between you and these. It seemed that I never seen a couple on this show that was sitting so far apart in the confessional. Even, Tisha and Marceau be fighting all the time, but they are even hugged up and closer than Sunny and Moses in the confessionals. Y'all go check it out. Even Trisha and Ken look closer in the confessionals than Sunny and Moses, and they are whole married, newlyweds, jumped in this thing, trying to have a baby, but they're sitting so far apart. I don't know, y'all. And then in one scene, it looked like he was trying to pull on his ring, like he was gonna take it off again. Like, let me make sure I got this on since I'm over here and she's sitting next to me. But anywho, yeah. So they're not even talking about the house. They start talking about destiny, and then so now Sunny wants to add some humility and humbleness in her tone when she speaks of destiny. I guess destiny told you off well enough that you needed to know that you needed to humble yourself, because these are my friends and you can't get in the way you going. You ain't gonna get in. So yeah, she says that she wishes that she could be able to sit in a room with Destiny and they be cool, since when she was a producer, they were cool then. Oh, so now you remember her, because all this other time you've been acting like Mariah Carey. I don't know her. No, we're not friends. I don't know her. And you did it with an attitude. But now all of a sudden you remember that y'all were cool at some point. Oh, okay. Tell us another lie, Sunny. We see straight through you. Straight through you. The same way Moses is looking straight through you. Yeah. So anywho, it was a little key to see Martel and Chris Fletcher antagonizing each other about being neutral. One was saying, Martel was like, well, you can't be neutral between me and Mel. We got kids and this and that other. Well, how you gonna be neutral with you and Destiny? Y'all basically like family. So anywho, we move forward and we see Martel with his other sister friend on the show. Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, Kimberly. Listen, you can always catch up on the replay, but we're going through this. We're getting through it. I have been notorious for being long-winded, so I'm trying to hurry up and speed through it. So if I'm talking and I sound like I'm rambling, that's why. All right. So anywho, we move forward to this next scene. Martel, y'all, I'm gonna say it, and I don't care who gets mad about it. Welcome, Monique. Welcome, Kimberly. Thank you for joining the chat. And as you're in the chat, I need to ask you a question. Are you a millimeter or not? Because I've had some millimeters in my comment section this past week trying to get me together. And I just want the millimeters to know, baby, I am not moved. I shall not be moved. I don't care. Y'all, when please know that there is not a word that you can type on this internet that will get me out of pocket. No, it's not gonna happen, girl. You all right? I have a millimeter type a whole dissertation. I just came from the winery with my husband. We out at brunch on a Sunday morning. Girl, thank you for joining breakfast. So glad you can stop by. I ain't got nothing else to say to you. I said what I needed to say. I spoke for over 2 hours saying what I needed to say. All right, back to what we came here for. Are you a millimeter or not? Because I'm gonna say this, and I might offend you if you are. I have been trying to reserve my judgment on this cast when it comes to the divide on who's on Mel's side, who's on Martel's side. For me personally, I don't like how Martel did Melody. I really don't, because I've been down that path. Excuse me, in my own personal life, and a lot of us women have, where our ex did some real foul stuff. Yeah. My ex-husband didn't have a baby on me, but I had a relationship where that did happen. A lot of what Melody is dealing with when it comes to Martel, I've dealt with, so I ain't here for it. No. But objectively, watching this show, I have to admit that these are Martel's friends. They are. They are. If we can be honest and objective, the reason we see Martel filming with the majority of the cast more so than we see Melody, because these are his friends. And when it comes to the reality show, this is an ensemble cast. And that ensemble is made up of people who have relationships, who have bonds, who have friendships from over some time, that has some stick and stay power. And that's what makes these storylines real, natural, and believable. And y'all, these are his friends. Y'all see how he's hugging Stormy? First of all, we saw how him and Destiny were able to laugh and joke and talk with each other. We've seen that over the years. But just last episode, we saw Martel and the guys out, and his interaction with Courtney, who happens to be Stormy's husband. And Courtney admitted in that scene, Martel is sneaky. Martel is a liar. He is a cheater. He is sneaky. He don't tell the whole story. He need to stop fooling around with all these women. But yet and still, Courtney trusts Martel as a friend, and a friend to his wife enough to leave the city. Stormy said he was out of town, so I don't know if he had left the state or not, but at least leave the city and not be bothered by Martel being around his wife and hugging on his wife and possibly kissing her on the cheek. He ain't bothered by it. They are friends. This scene between Stormy and Martel felt like how I talk to my brother or my male cousins. It felt real familiar. Hey, Pacino! Good to see you. Pacino says, I honestly think the cast only tolerates Mel and Tell because they know neither won't be fired. Yeah. Well, I think that on one end, but when it comes to friendships, we didn't see Mel get these type of hugs. And I've been trying to avoid talking about her, but they keep bringing her up. I've been trying to avoid talking about her because she really hasn't been in these scenes. They keep bringing her up, which, keeps her relevance to the show. But even when we were discussing her interactions on the show, it was almost like, I'm the boss, and why didn't you come to my event? I'm the boss, and how dare you invite him to this event? It was more HR employee versus these type of friendly hugs. That's what I'm seeing. And you're welcome to have a difference of opinion, because I enjoy that. I tell y'all that all the time. I enjoy a different perspective. That's what the conversation is all about. That's honestly what makes the conversation seasoned and good. But I think it's more to the relationship with Martel when it comes to this cast, because like I just mentioned, even with these guys knowing that Martel is a whole jerk, it appears that the only guys that are just not fooling with him are Marcel and Maurice. The rest of them like Martel. They enjoy being around him. Now, it looked like him and Ken about to have some differences. Martel seems to be chill as long as you're not in a romantic relationship with him. Right. There you have it. Hey, and this is just an objective perspective. But yeah, I think you are spot on, Pacino. Yeah, it seems like everybody likes him because, hey, they didn't have to deal with what she had to deal with. And that's I know it's not fair, it's not fun, but that's honestly how the cookie crumbles. When I divorced, well, first of all, when I separated from my ex-husband, that's how it was for me. Remember, I told y'all I moved to another state to be with him because he was in the military. So we had to bounce around. But the state that we were in and the time that we were there, he had been there for a while and developed relationships before I got there. Now, I used to, when we were dating, I would go and visit and this and that and other. But when I got there, those were already his friends. So whenever we separated, I lost those friendships because those were his friends. Out of all of those friendships, one of the church mothers, who happens to be my son's godmother, her and her daughter, we still interact. And one of the other elders in the church, he's he still does the same work I do. So, there have been times our paths have crossed and we'll reach out every now and then. But everybody else, those were his friends. I don't think they dislike me. For instance, I ran across one of the girlfriends, and I would never forget. She was the one that when I needed to leave, y'all, my situation was violent. So I was pushed down a flight of stairs when I was big pregnant, and I needed to leave the house. She was the one that opened her doors for me to come in, her and her husband. I will never forget that, and I will always appreciate her for that. But they were his friends. So whenever we separated, they were still his friends. I ran into her maybe about 6 or 7 months ago at the casino. and it was friendly, but those were his friends. They were friendly to me, but the closer bond was with him, and I understand that, and I'm not going to try to interrupt that. I just have to come to a place of acceptance with that. Pacino says Ariane as well. I didn't realize it until, the situation with Kiki, that yes, Ariane as well. I didn't know how deep those roots ran. But y'all, love and marriage, a show about relationships. It's a lot to unfold. Relationships are complex. They are just as intricate as peeling the onion. There are layers and layers and layers to peel back when it comes to relationships. So this is a gold mine show, similar to Married to Medicine. Layers and layers. Gold mine show. It could go on for decades. It could go on for longer than the Cosby Show if we allow it to. So that's why I had my little rant at the top of this live, because y'all, I really want us to get our minds right and wrap our minds around this. Hi Lisa, welcome to the chat. I don't know if your L stands for loser, but are we projecting? What's going on, girl? Oh, but welcome to the chat. Please, please, please comment more. I would love to. I love having you here with us. Yeah, so Stormy is at her warehouse. And remember last episode, we were made aware that she had to go turn herself in to the courts. Y'all, I wasn't ugly to Lisa, was I? I'm sorry if I was, Lisa. Um those thoughts. Intrusive thoughts. Stormy had to go turn herself into the court because a content creator showed up at her warehouse uninvited, saying that she was coming to buy products. Stormy let her know, or her husband let her know, we don't buy product here. You're not welcome. You're trespassing on this territory. And the lady kept coming, her and a camera. And Stormy went the hell off, which was she was within her rights to do. But now the lady files a charge on her, and she didn't call a case. So she got a mug shot. Stormy said, "Okay, I got lawyers for that." She got the lawyers to hide that mug shot, so we couldn't get a piece of it. But she is now the new kid in the cell block, and her good friend, her cellmate Martel, who you see her hugged up with here. Y'all see that hug? That's the hug of sister brother sister. Like, I love you, girl. Come here, my little sis. That's what that kind of hug is. Welcome to the chat. Please make sure you like the video as you're coming in. But yeah, that was the kind of hug that he embraced her with. And even the way they were talking to each other. Stormy was like, what was going on between you and Trisha when you came to my house? Not only did Courtney didn't mind him coming to the warehouse, hugging up on his wife like this, but Courtney also let Martel come to his house when he was not around. Do y'all remember that? So he trusts Martel. There's a level of trust there. These are Martel's friends. Anywho, so Stormy is asking, what was up between you and Trisha? Because that energy was just something different. And I kind of felt like y'all know each other in a different way than what y'all were trying to let on. And Martel goes on to admit that, yeah, she came to the house a couple of times. And Stormy looking like, came to the crib? What? And he was like, yeah. And then he tells us in the confessional that he was interested in Trisha, interested enough to jump down in her DM. It goes down in her DMs, and he invited her to his house. She was interested enough to actually show up, but he claims nothing happened. Now, why y'all so secretive? And why you act like you don't know her? You remember all this about her, but you act like you know her. So when you first saw her in her first scene with you on this show, were you trying to produce yourself? Did you not know, y'all, you two had not talked? Because I'm sure you knew that she was going to be on the show ahead of time before the camera showed up. But y'all hadn't talked because, Tarzan is on her side, so you can't get to her like that. So to talk to her and make a plan, devise a plan. So you had in your mind that your plan was to act like you didn't know her, and her plan was to try to act normal, like we know each other, but that's all it is. Oh, okay. Now we're getting all this backstory. So now what we're figuring out is that you're lying. You're lying. Yeah. So, but the way Stormy was questioning him, like a sister would, like, yeah, I see straight through you. You can't fool me. I know something else was going on. And Stormy looked like she was putting the timeline together in her mind. And then she says, in the cutest little sister way, I got something to tell you. And she goes on to say that, hey, remember I heard that you got this charge. What is it? Harassing communications. Y'all, that's something that's new to me as well. Alabama has a lot of foolishness going on, but this harassing communications that they got going on in Huntsville is new to me as well. So, domestic violent communications or harassing communications, something like that. Anyway, Stormy was like, I got a charge for the same thing. And he's like, what? And then they had a trauma bond. Yeah, so they laugh and bond about it, and then they talk about the millimeters. I don't want to give them no type of clout over here, so we're gonna skip on over that part. All right. And yeah, so then we move on to the dinner at Dashu's with Kimmy and Maurice, invited by Moses and Sunny, or should I say Sunny and Moses, since it is established in this scene that Sunny is the leader in their relationship. Maurice said that she should be, because clearly she makes better decisions than he does. They're invited, and like I said before, it seems like the whole premise of this scene is for them basically to ask, hey, can we be friends so we can have somebody to film with? That's what it seemed like to me. Y'all tell me what you think. This did not feel like they already had a friendship, because it felt like an interview. It felt like they were interviewing for a friendship. Kimmy seemed extremely reserved. And by the way, I have to give it to Maurice in this scene. Kimmy was already at the restaurant, I think, and then he comes. As they're sitting down, he compliments her. You look so pretty. Every time I've seen Maurice and Kimmy have like date time or they're one-on-one, he's always complimenting her. So I'm going to give him his flowers for that, because it's nice to see these Black couples, enjoying each other in that fashion. So yeah, I'm sorry. We're gonna get to that. But they have this sit down. Kimmy seems very reserved, and she lets Maurice know they're at the restaurant by themselves initially, and she begins to share, what she had going on or whatever. But the reason we're here is because Sunny and Moses invited us here. They want to have a conversation with us, and she's like, I'm reserved because I'm friends with Destiny. Destiny is my girl. And Maurice is like, yeah. So, and now remember, Maurice and Marcel had a conversation with Moses a few episodes early in the season. So they've already had a one-on-one with Moses. He already knows something about him. I think Marcel may be a little bit closer to him. Thank you, Poppy. Marcel may be a little bit closer to him than Maurice, but they've already had some one-on-one time. And thank you for being a member, a whole evangelist out here. Y'all, if If you'd like to join the membership to get some behind the scenes tea with the Alabama Church Girl, please feel free to click that link that's in the in the comment section to join as members. And you're also welcome to send a super chat if you'd like to support this channel. And what are we doing with the super chats? Hey, we are going to save that to build. The plan is to build a tea room in the city of Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah. All right. So, but back to this. Maurice and Kimmy both seem reserved whenever Moses and Sunny, let me say it right, Sunny and Moses show up. Do y'all see the look on his face? Like, oh, and here we go again, Sunny, with the fashions, in my funky Dineva voice. The fashions, girl. What in the world do you have going on? What? Yes, lots of behind the scenes info. You get to see when I run into these local celebrities, these Southern celebrities. Yeah. But anywho, what do you have on? What is your personal style, Sunny? Now your makeup and hair look better in this scene, but what do you have on, girl? So they sit down and they start to tell their story once again. And I just kept hearing Iyanla in my head, like, you don't have to recite your story over and over and over again. Just live your reality. Everything that's happened in the past is the past. It's over. It's done. Finito. Finished. It is finished in the words of Jesus Christ. Let it go. Let's move forward. But no, because you know that it's unbelievable, you have to constantly rehearse it until it feels believable to, or you think it feels believable to the person that you are projecting it to. And Kimmy still seems like she don't quite believe your story, but I'm gonna give you an opportunity. Kimmy, I hope, for God's sake and yours, that you know how to protect yourself. Guard your heart, because out of it flows the issues of life. Kimmy, Maya Angelou said this wonderful quote that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Sunny has already shown herself. She's already shown her cards that she is not a girl's girl. She don't mind turning her back and betraying a friend. It will use relationship and her proximity to you to get what she wants and then dump you like a bad habit. Kimmy, I hope you know how to play this smart. Be wise, honey. Be wise. Yeah. So Kimmy's like, well, Sunny was nice to me when I was going through my chemo. Remember now, she didn't have too many friends because her own husband was treating her like she was a horror, and all that she had for him was her goods. And so she probably felt a little depleted at the time. Clearly, physically, she had to feel depleted, as I hear chemotherapy makes one feel depleted physically. But emotionally, she had to be depleted as well, knowing that my husband demands me to have sex with him at least once a day, even though I've been in chemotherapy all day. And if I don't, I got to give it to him, even though my body is not physically ready. Even though it hurts me to do it, I got to give it to him, because if I don't, I'm afraid he might go somewhere else and get it. Yeah. I'm sure emotionally she was depleted as well. So, son, it was easy for Sunny to get to you in your vulnerable state to make you feel away, Kimmy. But now that you are healed, thank God, and you're not concerned, you don't have that concern of cancer over your head and over your life, I'm sure there's more clarity for what you're doing. And right now, I'm questioning your decision making as well. Why are you giving this lady an opportunity to dump you like a bad habit too? Oh, I'm just saying. Yes, the benefit of the doubt. Yes, grace. Yes, be forgiving, but don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Y'all, to drop down in the comments, let me know as a community, how do we do this? When we've seen people show themselves in a manner that is less than desirable, less than favorable for friendship, how do we cultivate community with them? Because honestly, I didn't isolate you. You isolated yourself. I don't believe in isolating people. I don't. But I do believe cutting you off when you show me your hand. I'm going to give you an opportunity. But if you take that opportunity to stab me, guess what? I got to cut you. It's just got to go down. So what are we doing? Family, saints, let me know. Am I seeing this wrong? Am I looking at the sun too closely? I can't see Sunny correctly. But I don't see her doing Kimmy right either. I don't. Anywho, so let's move forward. There's something that I want to talk about. Briefly mentioned it, that this show shows us many complexities of these casts and their personalities and their realities. And something that has been touched on, really lightly brushed across these past 3 episodes, has been the new laws, the new abortion laws in the state of Alabama. Why am I bringing this up? Because the abortion laws not only encompass women not having the choice, not being able to choose what's going on with their bodies as far as deleting a pregnancy, but it also those new abortion laws also affect surrogacy and IVF. And in this sit down with Kimmy and Maurice, Sunny and Moses revealed that they started having IVF treatments before they got married. They want to have a kid. Moses says that he wants to have a kid immediately because he realized after being in prison for 15 years, going through COVID behind bars, and not having family members pass away and not being able to be there with them and be with other family to give them hugs and love on each other, that's how important family is. So he wants to go ahead and start a family. Remember when he was dating Destiny, how that was one of the wedges that came between them was she said that he was trying to get her pregnant. Destiny had just had a baby, and little did we know the paternity of that baby was already in question. So she wasn't trying to go back that fast. So with that being stated, they decided to start IVF treatments in Missouri because they glazed over it. Maurice kind of said it here, but it made me think about the previous episode where we saw Stormy sitting down with her mom, or having to sit down with her mom, and she said that she wanted to have a surrogate. And she said, well, she was doing surrogacy out in LA. And her mom said, yeah, because and they kind of, the edited out whatever else she had to say about that. I'm sure that the production and the editors are trying to just take the safe route and not speak about politics on this show. But I want to speak about it here tonight, because local politics do really affect your local life, your day-to-day life. And it is imperative, community, that we get out and vote, especially in our local politics. There have been times, I told you, I work in one city and I live in another city 3 hours away. There have been times I had to, let my supervisors know, hey, it's gonna be late when I come in. I might not get there to the end of the day, but I gotta go vote. That's one thing I gotta do. Y'all, excuse me just for a moment, please. I need to plug this computer up. Yeah, so there have been times where, whatever I got to do to make sure that I get out and vote in the locally, there have been times where I woke up, got up, and was at the polls before they even opened. Because let me go ahead and get this out of the way, and I got the rest of my day to do what I need to do. But it is very important to go out and vote in your local elections. Those people that you're putting in office locally are the ones that are really determining what's going to happen in your day-to-day life, whether or not you get them speed bumps in your community or not, whether or not the trash get picked up on certain days or not. That's really the fact that these two totally different couples are on this happen to be on the same show with issues with being pregnant. That is a very intimate decision. And politics shouldn't have play a part in you making a decision to start a family, but it does. Here in Alabama, it does. I recall I was it was a few years after college. I had a girlfriend that got married. She had been with a guy through college. She had gotten married. They wanted to start a family. They were trying for a few years, and she couldn't get pregnant. And we actually sat down and talked about me possibly being a surrogate for her. And I was willing to do it. And I learned in that experience that it's against the law in Alabama. That's why Stormy is going all the way out to California for her surrogate. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, Alabama laws don't permit surrogacy just for the excuse me, for a situation like Stormy's where her she wants to avoid the possibility of what happened in her first pregnancy, where she almost lost her life. Yeah, it's that the law does not lean in that direction. Same thing with IVF. It's being policed and by politics on if you can start that family or not here in Alabama. So I say all that and I bring all that to your attention to say it is important. My Black community, all communities, but specifically we talk to um, our community over here. It is important to get out and vote in your local elections. Um, I don't know what's going on with Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia somewhat, but I think there is enough stronghold in Atlanta to kind of hold back some of that situation. Stacey Abrams has done a great job over there. Um, but it has impact and we see it here. They glazed over it, but because I live here and I'm aware of what's going on and it has touched my life, I could not avoid that conversation. Even with Stormy and her mom when they were sitting down talking, and she was saying how, hey, the doctors really, you might have an issue with the doctors here as well. Yes, yes, it's a thing. It's a thing. Um, I have a friend right now that just had to file a complaint because of mistreatment, going to the doctor and not being treated fairly or not being treated well. So it's a thing, and you need to do your due diligence. Please. We're coming up on election cycle, and I don't like to talk politics a lot, but I will say I'm an avid believer that we all should get out and vote, and it is our civic duty. It is our right that our forefathers, our ancestors fought for. I was born and raised in Eufaula, Alabama. That's one of the bloodiest massacres for voting rights in the state of Alabama. So, yeah, I'm gonna do it every time. I'm gonna get out and vote every time. If God willing and the creek don't rise, as old people say. But I'm serious. Let's do our due diligence and get out and vote in our, especially our local elections. We need to do all of them, but especially in our local elections. All right, so I'm gonna stop preaching. All right, y'all. So I was doing my very best not to have a 2-hour conversation on this evening, but I do appreciate you for joining me for the conversation on this evening. Once again, as you're coming in, as you're going out, make sure you hit that like button. Yeah. It's like placing your tithe and your offering in the collection plate. It's free though. It's free. All you just got to do is hit the button like, yep, that was my tithe for the day. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really, really do. And if you'd like to join the membership, see a little behind the scenes, you get to see me and the fam out this past. Thank you, Pacino. See you later. Me and the fam out at the vineyard this past weekend for the holidays. Beautiful scenery. I didn't see any fireworks, but that doggone winery, seeing the sheep and overlooking the hills, it was wonderful. It was beautiful. If you like to join in and see a little bit about who I'm running into and what I'm doing, you can join in as a missionary. If you want to see me running into these and hanging out with these Southern celebrities, you can join in as an evangelist, so you get to see a little bit more. I told you I got to work on that video for my interaction with at Dr. Jackie's house. Oh, Father. But y'all, it's been wonderful. It's been real. And until we meet again, make sure you love God and love your families. I will see you all later. Good night. Because I don't want that simple life. It's the fine things I like.